I thought I started streaming. I thought I pushed the button, and then I switched to the camera and I started talking like I was streaming, but I wasn't. I was just pretend streaming. I said hey to Draclin. I started talking about stuff, but I was just warm up, I guess. I was not actually streaming. So guitar stream, yeah, let's do it. Is it time? I just play Stairway. I'm so out of practice. I don't think I can play anything, unfortunately. One day I'll sing a song. When we've got some people to sing to, I'll sing a song I wrote years ago for my friend Angela before she was my friend and probably embarrassed her. That'd be a good song to sing. Enter Sandman. I was never super Metallica-y. I mean, that was definitely my era and kind of my genre of music, but Metallica was not my jam. This shirt, I need a new shirt. This shirt, it's old, it's falling apart just like me. So what'd I do today? We did another long stream. Of course, Twitch didn't look at it. I don't know what I need to do to get them to notice me. I did do some work earlier. However, I wrote some better documentation, I hope. Hopefully that makes things a little more clear for them. I also was looking at the to-dos. And this is just kind of a cleanup sort of thing, but I think I'm going to finish it on stream. So this stream might be really boring. Sorry, not sorry. Let's see. This button. So what I started doing was templating our viewer front end, because we just had so much redundant HTML and JavaScript, and it was just like tons of pasting over and over again, and we were getting this annoying part where like some features would be in one page and not in another, and so early on I didn't want to do it because it was like it's extra work to do and there weren't that many pages, but now we have all these demos and I think it's worth doing, so I started doing it. So I'm using Jekyll. I am using Jekyll. I like Jekyll, okay, but the main reason I'm using it is because GitHub Pages supports it. And so you can do a cool thing where you just have a Jekyll site all set up and ready to go, and then you just push to GitHub and you'll magically have a website. Oh, Draclin had an idea. I like that idea. That's kind of what I was thinking with the piano. That's part of the reason that when I did the piano, I had it docked to part of the screen, although I made it way too big and horrible. I would like that, I think. So Draclin's suggesting like a little mini synth that is permanently there. I like the idea. You know, I'm a little envious of the streamers that have like really decked out layouts. I just haven't gotten around to doing that yet. And I think it would be cool to have some part of my overlay always heat enabled. I think that would be pretty slick. So I like that idea, but we're going to do boring things instead. So the main things that I did that were boring were I started going through and doing the Jekyll templating, which wasn't that complicated. And I also, to be able to use Jekyll, did install the Windows subsystem hoo-ha, which I'd previously had, but then unhad. And now we have it again. So we've got bash and we can be bashy. I kind of want to get this working down here though. I thought there was a way that you could have, okay, man, am I ever going to find this? Select default shell, WSL bash. I don't know if I'm going to be pleased with that decision long term. Because I don't know. I mean, we've got part of our working environment set up in like Node and stuff like that is set up in the Windows world, and I don't have it set up in Bash world, right? Like, I don't think I can do any of my, okay, first of all, this is already crashed, so, oh wait, there it is. It's just a really fast terminal. So we don't have Node or any of that stuff here. I actually would like it if I could, on the fly, decide what console I wanted to use. It seems kind of lame that you have to pick one at a time. Anyway, today, since we're doing Jekyll stuff, we'll do it in this world. So we're going to do Jekyll watch, which I'm not entirely sure if it's working or not. And yeah, this is, again, it's probably going to be a boring stream. This is just like all for the last week or whatever, or however long we've been doing the front end demos. I guess a couple weeks now. Whenever I've been like just running through all the code and being like, oh, we'll fix it later. Like maybe it's time. Maybe it's time to fix it up. I mean, Jekyll serve. Why is this so slow? Okay, there it is. So this means if you haven't used Jekyll, it's kind of cool. It's why didn't it tell me what port it is running on? That would have been helpful. It's still generating? Something's wrong. Okay, maybe we're not going to run this in a terminal because this seems terrible and incredibly slow. This should take like 1 second. Okay, I'm done with you. This is something seems broken. Let's go back to git bash because that worked reasonably well, and we will just stick with that. We just won't have Jekyll. So that's okay. Let's just run bash over here. I'm not too worried about it because we don't have to really deal with Jekyll very much. No? I prefer show all if ambiguous. I don't have a bash RC set up here. Okay, yep, thanks, great. Okay, so we shouldn't really need to keep an eye on this, hopefully. Okay, so now, except I forgot to see what port it was. 4000. So what are some things we've done since I last looked at this? I did the thing where you always have a channel ID when you go into these, so it should work on any channel and you shouldn't have to mess with it if you pass the channel ID through here, which automatically happens from the dashboard. Maybe that's something Twitch was having trouble with when they couldn't test it. I also already worked on templatizing some of these things. So this is why it's handy. For like these pages, these like static kind of text pages, and this one, well, I already deleted them. I was going to show a comparison. So previously they looked like this because there was no templating, there was no sharing of anything, and then within them the content was HTML. So this was for like the help page, for example. This is all the stuff from the help page, and like, sure, a human can write HTML, but it's not the most pleasant thing. Like it's a little bit of a hassle. It's not as fluid as just typing, even with the assist from an editor. So I tend to like stuff that's just text oriented to handle in Markdown. So I've already gone through here, and now these can be really dramatically simplified. So that help page now just looks like this. It's just structured in plain text. It's just a little easier, in my opinion, to manage. So I tend to, when I have something that will parse Markdown for me, to write in Markdown. So that's mostly working. I'm not crazy about the widths I'm getting. The way this works is, the main thing is to specify the layout, and then you have sort of these templates and partial pages that can get automatically populated. Like that page gets included in the contents here. This page also references defaults, so it lets you save like kind of a hierarchy of templates so you can reuse stuff pretty efficiently. I was messing with this earlier and didn't really arrive somewhere where I was super pleased with it, actually. Basically, I want to say, like, as we scale down, yeah, to go like full width. Although that seems like I didn't do it right. No, I did. Okay, so that worked. It's not the best thing, but at least it is slightly more responsive than it was previously. So I feel okay about these pages. Then I was going to start doing the individual demos. And our demos are kind of a mess, just because we have a bunch that are like half started and I don't quite know what to do about it. And actually, something I'm not crazy about with Jekyll is I would sort of prefer to have one more level of hierarchy, but I don't think we can. So this is like a super stripped down demo. Basically, the idea is I just want to include the script and maybe one tag to make the demo happen. So maybe we'll, as an example now, try the baby. And then all we would need, so sprites is going to be kind of a problem because we're going to need some shared place for assets. But barring that, we shouldn't need any HTML. We can just kind of grab, how are we going to do this? There's one annoying part about this is the order of the scripts with jQuery, because you want your, that is the thing that slightly sucks, I must admit. How do we want to get down that? So, I made a demo layout. Did I make a demo layout? I believe I didn't yet because they're just using the default layout. So that's okay. So I kind of want to just strip the jQuery out of all of these as we go through them. We kind of did that in a lot of places anyway. Like this is mostly jQuery-less. So I want to just take the demos out, put a little bit of spit shine on them. I would kind of like one more level of hierarchy, but I think it's going to be okay. I think this will make things a little easier than having all this redundant stuff. So what we actually need from this is really just what's inside the body tag, and we don't even need all of that. So we don't need all of you. And then in here, we just need like some front matter. And now these contents will be included directly into that template, meaning we don't need this stuff. We do probably want that stuff, but now I think we're gonna have to ditch jQuery just because of the order in which stuff gets parsed. Just slightly annoying, but not the end of the world. Yeah. We should include socket.io in there as well, I think. So I want you to reconnect to the guy. You, thank you. I forgot we do need socket.io. I mean, we always need socket.io, so it's a little silly. We could just save 2 lines by always including that, but I think this will be okay. Okay, so $sign is mad because jQuery is not loaded yet, which is kind of dumb, but which is a weird thing because even if this is inside here, which I would think inside this world, we shouldn't execute this until jQuery is loaded, but it still happens. We could do something, no, because we couldn't even do a document ready. We could do like a wait for the window load or something like that, but I think I'm kind of just want to not use jQuery anyway because we've been doing a fairly good job of not needing it. The other thing is how much I want to enclose in my little init dude, which we've been putting a lot inside the little init dude. Like in some cases, almost everything. And I kind of want to stick with that. I don't have a strong reason as to why, and maybe it's a bad idea, but it just, I don't know, kind of gives me an idea like, yes, we have a scope here that is one step removed from the global scope, and it's kind of the world in which we're going to run everything, so I don't know. So what do we actually need to do here? We need to do, and actually we don't, this stuff we've already done places, I'm certain. Didn't we just do this in the painting? We did, indeed. We changed it in there a little bit though. we just have so much stuff that's redundant but almost the same. Kind of why I want to tidy this up. That still has jQuery. Only listen to heat there. I thought we did one of these where we fixed that. But maybe not. Maybe this is all still a super inconsistent mess. It appears to maybe all be a super inconsistent mess. Man, I really did think I fixed it in one place. Maybe this was the one place that I fixed it. But it's not consistent. Oh well, we'll figure it out. A blind playthrough of accounting in VR. I know, we talked about it. I know I blew it. I know. We've got work to do, Jacqueline. I can't stream games. I should be playing. I haven't played Metro in days. I need to play Metro. Okay, so back to the baby. Man, I don't know. I don't know if I like this. I don't know if it's a good idea or a bad idea. But we've started doing it, so let's move forward. Only real change here was this draw click instead of the handle click. And like a lot of this stuff we will reuse. I don't know if we use it enough to like, probably not. Okay. I do need more libraries. What am I thinking? Need all of these libraries, just not jQuery. I like that. This song, sometimes I kind of feel like this song is my theme song, only because we've heard it 17 trillion times. Okay. I've seemingly broken the baby. Jacqueline, good night. Good job on all your game stuff. I wonder if Pixie.js... Oops. Don't do that. Firefox, you're so stupid. Chrome knows better. So we're still RC2. What am I on? New stuff. Okay, I don't know that we need that stuff. I think we can just wait until the final one's out. Right? Right? Okay, so we inexplicably have no content at all. So that's a little weird, right? Also doing the same thing twice here. Again, a little weird. Do we actually have a main div? We do indeed. That is getting called. Okay. Let's go through this thing. We make some, we got event handlers. Pixie setup. We don't want that with the baby. We add the thing to the stage. That's to create our baby. Prepare the food. We don't ever do this. This never happens. We can ditch it. Draw clicks. We store the mouse point for some reason. Do we actually use that anywhere? I don't think we do. That's our animation loop. Update the baby. The baby's complicated. It's got all these steps of like feeding and whatever, which we could simplify. I do have some ideas about that, but I don't know if we want to go too far. I just kind of want to do this thing. So I'm sure something's breaking, but Firefox is too stupid to tell us. So let's switch to Chrome and see what Chrome has to say. Chrome has very little to say as well, apparently. I'm sorry what I said about you, Firefox. Okay, so the issue is, right, document size stuff. I mean, what did I break? This is probably not going to be a super long stream. Okay, we're getting clicks in here that seem to be valid to me. Let's make sure that we're actually getting the size of the thing we want. We're not, and I know why. I know why. It's a silly reason. It's CSS. Do I want to just duplicate that CSS every time? I guess. Because it could potentially be a little different every time. It's this jerk. I don't know, maybe I'm not fixing the redundancy I had hoped to fix. Maybe I'm part of the problem. Actually, I think I'm the whole problem. It's all my fault. Oh yeah, and like the background and all that stuff. Boy. You know, one of the things I was thinking is like that the our little buddies should try to be smart about what mode they're in. Like to know if they're in the streaming demo mode in which they need a background or not. Because generally speaking, we don't want a background for these. So that they can easily be used as Twitch overlays, but it's a little easier to demo them if they have it. So that's a slightly tricky thing. I'm gonna cut it for now, I think. Man, I don't know. Now I'm like second guessing this whole strategy. Maybe it's a bad idea. Maybe it was a bad to-do item. Oh, we got the baby back at least. That makes me feel a little better. Okay, well, we now have the baby as like its own little world, which is good. There's definitely some stuff in this I realized that this check for food is redundant, because really we already have to loop through all the food here. And we could just eat any food that we were already close to, right? So we could say like if min length is less than 10, then we should eat the food and continue. Or like if length is less than 10. If excuse me. Or we could what did we say when we ate the food? Just to destroy it. So this would let us eat all of the food that is nearby, which I think is good. Super broke it. What's wrong? Because target sprite's not the thing. Child is the thing. We want to destroy the child. However, that probably means we need to iterate backwards, would be my immediate assumption. Because, you know, if we're iterating over some kind of collection and we're messing with that collection while we do so, probably a bad idea. Yeah, okay, so now the baby can eat all the food if all the food is really close. So that saved us some code, and it lets the baby eat faster. So if somebody like spams a big pile of food, the baby can eat it in one bite, which I like. That was kind of a problem before. So this whole thing, you wish you were the baby? Grimbone, I'm in dark mode. I can't even see you. I gotta switch out of dark mode so you're not in disguise. Drawer. Have I had this problem before? Karari. How's it going? I'm just spending time alone. I know you're hiding deep in the darkness. I'm just spending time with the babby. The babby ran for like 30 hours straight, waiting for Twitch to review, and then Twitch rejected me. And then the babby ran for like another 25 hours straight, so we just now cut off the... I stopped the babby again, so I could make some changes that now I'm thinking were maybe a bad idea. Maybe? I don't know. I'm just rebuilding the front end site a little bit. What's going on Thursday night? Exciting Thursday night things? Why don't your emotes work? I see a smork. My code? My code for what? Do I have a code for something? Wait, NBA 2K's Twitch Prime? Oh yeah, look at that. You know what? I am probably never going to play that. So, as a special gift to you, a one-time gift in my whole life, I'm not going to send it. Don't tell anybody. As far as anybody's concerned, that never happened. Never happened. Never. How did you know I don't play 2K19? Maybe I do every day. Maybe I secretly do it. Shh, no, don't thank me. It never happened. Now people, you know, I give one person a 2K19 code, and then like now I gotta give it to everybody. I didn't bring enough for the whole class. Okay. That's where we draw new food. That's our little update loop. This whole babby is just a mess. What a mess, you messy babby. This one is... Find offset to food. Normalize the offset. Scale the offset. We no longer have to check for food here. And this is going to be moved toward offset. I feel like this is redundant because we're doing this thing where we are... Oh, that's each... Okay, yeah, that's like... That's the animate additional points. Which it really probably is redundant at this point. We have slightly different logic for our... I mean, it's pretty close, right? Almost identical. It's just... we calculate a fixed length here, otherwise it's the same. I think that's okay. I don't want to get too deep into rewriting the Babby. Okay, now the Babby is more broken out. I'm going to use every single AWS server. I heard about a new one today. What was it called? Firecracker? It's like tiny, lightweight virtualization containers. Like, that's weird. One of my favorite Amazon leadership principles is customer obsession. That doesn't actually sound like a good thing, does it? That's a little creepy. I want to know what... I still don't feel like I quite understand the purpose of a firecracker. Can launch virtualized environments in a fraction of a second. It's secure. It's high performance. It's battle tested. I just, like, I don't quite know what I need it for. I mean, probably the answer is I don't need it, but what if I do one day? What if I need a firecracker? Firecrackers do often go boom. That is true. That's one of the main things they say about firecrackers. Okay, I think this works. Now I'm all hung up about this background thing. I've only glanced at it. My impression was that there's less control, but I don't know. I did not dig into it. I haven't done any of their like containery stuff. What's the other one? Fargate. I am not an AWS expert, even though I think one day that I said I was an AWS expert, it was I was being facetious or lying, one of the two. Okay, so do we want to go through and refactor all these things? How did I get the sprites, by the way? That seems like that shouldn't have worked. Like, where was my... That's weird. Is that a crazy thing about Jekyll that I don't know? Oh, well, that works only by accident. I did an accidental thing that accidentally works. That's kind of cool that it works. I did not really expect it to. Maybe I'll leave it like that? Oh man, I don't know now. Okay, well, we'll take that in 2 passes then. I'm glad that that accidentally works. Go me. Okay, and then what did I decide to do about the backgrounds? Seemingly did not decide anything. Indecision. My indecision will kill me. So our default layout... I'm doing really boring Jekyll stuff right now. Sorry. This is like super not exciting. I'm just trying to refactor and clean up all the nightmare demos that we've been writing. But... I'm a little worried about something. So there is a cool thing you can do when you add browser sources in OBS, for example. You can cheat and you can cram in. You can kind of override the background, or at least the background color. And so I could clear some of these other background attributes. I think I could probably do like a background none. That didn't work at all, did it? No, that didn't work. That's just, I just have a purple screen. So, cool. Oh, because I'm pointed at the wrong place. Ha ha ha. Is it me? Is heat working? Where's the real Babby though? No, everything's broken. That's the wrong URL. Everything's oof. Falling apart here. How about that? Okay, yeah, we got this Babby. So we are able to override the background in real time in a browser overlay. So that makes me not too worried about this, at least for now. There's some where we do way more dramatic backgrounds, but I'm not super worried about them. Interesting, when I do the HTML, so maybe probably the answer is, hey, don't do that. So we probably want to do like keep body in HTML just for the height, and then only do the color, like the background color and such in there. And now refresh. Terrific. It's the Babby back again. No, we had twin Babbies. It's a dream come true. Babby feels a little laggy. You got a laggy Babby. Okay. I feel like we got a bunch of other CSS in here that we don't really want. Like, you know, it's just junk all over the place. It's a disaster. So we want to do what now? Keep going down the list? Possibly? We got the Babby. We got hello. Demo is going to be its own kettle of fish. Heatmap we could do. I think we will yet again have some work to do on it. So, I mean, the whole goal, if you missed the earlier part, is just to get rid of a lot of the redundancy that we have, because there's a whole lot of redundancy in the way I wrote these. And just as I've been kind of putting it off, but as we add more and more and more demos, it just gets more and more messy and harder to add new stuff. So my hope is just to like try to make it suck a little less. And man, it super confuses. Visual Studio Code does not know what to do with me putting shader code inline. Is there a MIME type? It just says text plain. GLTF, okay. Okay, so this seems broken and stupid, as I would expect. Heatmap does not get a webcam. Heatmap does not want jQuery. Heatmap does have a simple custom shader. Heatmap does have a bunch of jQuery in it that's going to break. But that's okay. What do I use mouse position for? Did I use that? I don't think I do. Did I ever use that? What is the uniform? Uniform's mouse. I don't think I use it. Maybe that was like just when we were starting out messing with stuff, because I don't think that's a thing we actually mess with. I don't think we actually use time either. Okay, but the main thing is cleaning up the jQuery now that we've divorced ourselves from jQuery. Broken, super broken. What have I done now? More jQuery. Can you please tell me the line number? Window add listener resize. Well, and also some CSS. So there's still certainly some efficiencies that we could have. Okay, is there anything in here that's just like egregiously awful? I want to do like a 1 hour stream today. Just, you know, keep the I was gonna say the juices flowing, but that sounds gross. I don't want to do that. Just keep limber, you know, keeping stream in shape, fight in shape for streams. So yeah. Oh yeah, the gradient texture. We really did this in a silly way. I'm gonna like get the render texture set up first, then mess with the sprite, and then have a render loop. And handle resizes. Which really should probably be up with the event listeners, right? That would make more sense than just cramming it down there. Render loop. Kind of weird that we'd still be setting stuff up. We do not want, yeah, render loop. Quick sprites. Wait. Oh, that is a, right, that is a separate thing that we're only, we really could do that down here. I mean, this, we have two separate loops really. This one is updating. There's no reason to do this twice. It's probably confusing. So the first thing we want to do is update the sprites and then render to texture here. We're using clock and all that stuff, I think. Okay, does this work? No, render texture sprite, not defined, 152. I'll probably just move something out of order. What did you say? 152. Oh, the line numbers are gonna suck. I kind of forgot about that part. Oh, I definitely forgot about that part of using Jekyll. Not great. Not great at all. That, for just that reason, it makes me not want to go ahead with what I'm doing. We should do all this stuff after the render texture sprite is good. Like set up the shader and then oof, having bad line numbers is probably not gonna fly. A source map thing. It's the bad line numbers are because I transitioned to Jekyll really for some static pages, and I was just porting all of the examples to Jekyll, but it's because I have like 3 levels of templates that stuff get nested in, and so the line numbers will be thrown off by whatever the offsets are from these multiple layouts. So that really makes me want to maybe not do this, at least for the examples. I'm fine with it for the static stuff, but for the examples, it might be a terrible idea. It might be a very terrible idea. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's a terrible idea, so I think I'm not going to go ahead with that part. I will keep it. I'm going to, I think, stay in Jekyll land for all of the like boring pages, just because it's easier to manage those in Markdown. But for the demos, that's a kind of lame because I was hoping to get those out of the root folder. I guess they don't really have to. What do I want to do about this? What do I want to do about this? Let's see. So I'm curious as to what happens if I do this. I don't actually know the behavior of this. And if we just like don't include anything, but still give it a permalink. Did that really work? I'm not actually convinced that worked. Okay, maybe that does work, which is weird. Like, kind of weird, but maybe not tremendously weird, unless it's showing the old heat map. Let's just keep trying to break Jekyll and see if it will let me do these things. Yeah, ruined. Can't do that. That's absurd. Who would think you could do such a thing? Well, so that's not great. It just, huh. Well, that's weird though, because there is clearly a heat map here. You'd never expect to see. That kept this and it moved the HTML. Pretty weird. Pretty weird. Okay, so... Well, lame. Maybe we just have to live with our bad hierarchy. I brought it upon myself. Heatmap exists. It does? Thought I deleted it. That was weird. It's like, is Jekyll running? Frozen Visual Studio Code. Cool. Great news. Great news. Oh, okay. Bye, Visual Studio Code. I miss you. Come back, please. Okay, well, I think I miscalculated. It's funny because I was just thinking about this very thing, like this very programming situation, where it's like you think like, oh, that'd be a good optimization or that'd be a good refactor, and then you start it and you realize like, oh, this is a bad idea. Well, this is not. Why am I doing this? So if this is the case, maybe the thing I would like to do at a minimum is break out the inline JavaScript. Maybe, or maybe I want the whole thing in one file. I don't know. Just grab all this nonsense. It has no business being here anyway. Cram it all in here. Oh man, but then we have like the shader code and stuff that still sucks. Like, it's a sad story. I just wanted to clean things up, that's all. That's so much to ask. Like, loading shader code is a little annoying. It's definitely easier to inline like this. Shucks. At this point, it's not even Jekyll. Not even Jekyling in any way. I mean, all this stuff that really should probably be in the HTML head, I guess I could add up there, but I don't think it really hurts anything down here. I think I'm okay adding the background stuff here because if we're gonna just assume that, okay, let's put this in the head. We weren't raised in a barn here. We will cram all of our source code down here though in the body, because that's what people do now. Did I just crash? Oops. What do I do now? Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, this probably needs to come first. It's a little weird. I thought that by putting your JavaScript down here, you don't have to worry about that as much. Oh well. Okay, we have this, but here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that if we are comfortable with the idea that if people want to use it in OBS, they'll do the background override anyway, then it's probably fine to have backgrounds in these demos. I think that is how I feel about this topic. I think. And again, like, we're setting ourselves up for a lot of redundancy still, unfortunately. So maybe this whole exercise is a bad idea, but that's okay. We'll live with our mistakes, I guess. I should probably have one more level. Okay, and we had set this up to use backgrounds, so I probably shouldn't have deleted that, should I? What a fiasco this has turned into. Okay, back to the heat map. This is what we wanted. Right. Gradient not working? But because of this? Can you not have a gradient and a... What? Okay, well, I'm gonna just put this in here for now. Why, though? What did I break? Why is my linear gradient no longer gradienting? Oh, because I don't... That was my guess. It was a bad guess. What did we have previously? We had this previously. And then where did we have our SVG then? What? Excuse me? Okay. Oh, and that's just, that was in there. Okay. Okay, we're back to having this thing. I'm not crazy about this. I'm not super pleased. I don't know. Like, trying to think of what is actually helpful in terms of an example for someone. From that perspective, I kind of do want to inline everything and just have like, here's one file. It's everything you need for this demo, except for images. So, but this is kind of a lot of logic to say, I'm just going to cram all this inside, but I think I want to. I think that's the choice I'm making. It feels weird. I mean, I don't know. I'm probably getting hung up on stuff that is not worth getting hung up on. The only reason I'm doing that is because we keep adding more and more of these, and it's getting more and more complicated to like remember what are the differences and where do we cut and paste from, and all that stuff is just getting more annoying, unfortunately. So I just want to alleviate some of that annoyingness. But like even now, we've already made changes. You know, we've got changes between these two files, so that puts the baby on a gradient. Never considered that possibility before. Incredible. And then we just ditch this whole last script tag. And we ditch this thing that no longer exists. And I forgot to ditch it here. And then just everything in this. It really just wants what's in this script tag. It's a lot of stuff. Wrong. Kind of wrong. I think this is the thing to do. I think this makes it a little easier to know what's going on with any given example. Well, now the baby, incredible. Did we have a gradient on the baby before? I don't remember. Who knows? Okay, well, that kind of means that we're not actually making that many changes. It's really just would be a matter of like, okay, I guess we go through and clean up certain things, because you know, now I'm just second guessing the whole notion of using Jekyll, because I've had problems with this in the past when I had a site that was Jekyll based and it was posted on GitHub and people were looking at it trying to figure things out, and it can make it hard to navigate. So I think it is what I'm doing now, I think, is the right answer in terms of having all the demos very easily digestible, where you don't have to worry about like, oh, is weird stuff getting included, whatever. The line numbers will match what happens in the browser. So that all seems correct. So that seems good. We're cleaning things up as we go along also, which also seems good. What doesn't seem good is maybe I shouldn't be using Jekyll at all then. Which is not a big deal. It's not like I spent a ton of time on it, and the cleanup that I did was useful otherwise, I guess I would argue, but you know, still kind of annoying. We still have the like, let's un-jQueryify thing we've been doing, which we've really largely done here. This just kind of wants like maybe all we needed for that. Okay, so I do want to at least sort of conform this so we're all using the same goofball template. Okay, how bad's this file? It is we mostly follow the same pattern in all of these, which I don't know if it's a great pattern, but hey, we have it. With the DOM elements, that's the picky C set up. And then what we've been doing is just keeping all of this inside of here, which, you know, again, probably crazy, but hey. I did want to change I'll never find it in a million years. I meant to change that here as well. Let's change it in all of the places. Let's close the 12 million files we have open. And if we look at here, we did the thing where we split. No, we didn't. I thought we did. Well, let's start doing it. Where? Because I think this is going to mess us up in OBS if we try to add this as a overlay layer. Or a browser source, I mean. So we kind of want them all to have this, to the point that really this should all probably just be like a shared demo CSS, but hey. So this is not Heatmap, this is baby. And Heatmap wants the same thing. Kissing Booth wants the same thing. What are our other demos that we care about? The sequencer and the warp. Okay. What about our main demo page? We never really add that as an overlay, but hey. Maybe you would. Bootstrap stuff here. We don't use that anywhere else. Oh, there's just so much redundancy. Maybe that's fine. I mean, it's a trade-off of like, yes, there's all this redundant code, and we've got a dozen pages, but the trade-off of complexity to going to something to template that for us, I don't know if that's a worthwhile trade-off. I kind of at this moment feel like it's not a worthwhile trade-off. Okay, well, let's at least do sequence and warp, and then that's probably good for today because those are the only ones we actually share. I know it's the most boring stream of all time. I know it is, but that's okay. Sometimes you gotta stream just to like keep moving forward, you know? Okay, this wasn't the worst. It doesn't use pixies, so it's a pretty different thing. I kind of think I'm gonna un-Jekyll those other things. Maybe, although I definitely prefer them being in Markdown. Okay. And what's the last friend is warp. What? It was all a lie. Yeah, at some point we gotta get all the video stuff working again. Woof. So... this works, it's just not... oh, great. And uses jQuery. We remove the jQuery dependency on those other ones. Heatmap doesn't have its sequence. We're not using it, so it's really just this one, I think. Okay, that's easy enough. Do we use the mouse move? Again, I think we do not. No, it doesn't even have one. Okay. You two? I think I need to add that resize to everywhere if I actually wanted it to work correctly. Oops. Probably more jQuery 130. Yes. I did have a resize. How about that? Like all this is once again poorly ordered, and it's so redundant because it's so close to the heat map. This is redundant. Okie dokie. Particle container shader setup. So this is pretty close to the heat map one. I mean, they're based off the exact same thing. We would eventually just want to go back and add. I even have the map in this one. And where's the wallpaper coming from? Do we make that a sprite? We did. Okay. So we just don't even need this. Okay, well, what have we done? Aside from make a giant mess. Mostly, oh, we don't want to mess with that. Mostly just clean up. Having our outer structure a little tidier, getting rid of some jQuery dependencies, adding some comments, just like kind of making things a little clearer. It's still messy though. And we didn't even touch like paint or orb or any of those other things. I think what the actual maybe like right answer is to, it just sucks with the shaders, unfortunately. I was about to make a suggestion that now I don't think is the right suggestion, because the shaders treat me badly. Those are all safe. I'm just gonna have to think about this, whether I want to keep these markdowny or not. I mean, that's kind of convenient, but I also don't plan to edit those a ton, so I don't know. Maybe this was all more complexity than I actually wanted. You know, sometimes it's hard. It's hard to tell if like I'm making my life easier or if I'm just making it more complicated by avoiding some redundant tasks. But not all redundant tasks are bad, I would maybe argue. Okay, I think that's all that's gonna happen for today. I need to do some stuff like run Backblaze and back stuff up, because I haven't done that in days. Oh, that was the wrong rave. I meant to just run the kitty. Hello, kitty. We had a minor rave there for a minute. I think I'm gonna... Yeah, let all that stuff run tonight, upload some videos, just do some uploady kinds of stuff that I haven't been able to do because all my bandwidth has been going to streaming 24/7. And then tomorrow we will just start streaming anew, and hopefully some of the changes to documentation and stuff we made today will help Twitch understand what to do, because then it's going to be the weekend, and then what am I going to do? Not run the streams over the whole weekend? I don't know. Okay, well, apologize for the low-key stream. I know it was a little boring. We got to whatever. Did a little tidying. Sometimes it feels good. Maybe the biggest lesson this stream was just to remember, like, sometimes you go in and you think you have a good idea and you have to work on it a while to realize, like, maybe your idea wasn't so great. So the big tip off for me was when the line numbers were bad. Like, that's bad. That's a problem. Not just for me, but if this is going to exist as a repository for demos for people, like, that's just going to lead to confusion. And that made me remember that I've had that very problem before. Not that example, but problems where I've had repositories up that use Jekyll and people were like, how does this work? Like, and this is going to kind of be the demo repository. So we want to keep it clean, I think. Okay, cool. Well, thanks again for joining me, all those that stopped by, and we will talk again very soon. Good night.